takes it in overtime. Brady can chop, breakaway shoots, scores!
Welcome to SENS Talk. My name is Brandon and I am your host tonight. Ottawa took on the Tampa Bay Lightning in a massive game as usual, as Ottawa going in this one finds himself 7 points out of the final wildcard spot. But Ottawa got some help in the standings today. Florida, a team they're chasing for that final wildcard spot, lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if Ottawa wins today, they can cut that deficit to 5 points. Now look, Ottawa has 10 games left after this one in the season. They're running out of games here. But at the end of the day, these last 10 games, regardless if they're going to make the playoffs or not, are crucial for this team. They're a young team, very inexperienced if you really look at their career resumes. So getting these competitive, fierce battles in the next 10 games is massive for this core, especially for next year when we expect them to make the playoffs. I mean, next year, I think we all can agree this team should make the playoffs. This year, let's just make it competitive until the very end, which is what we're doing. So, once again, I can't say it enough. These last 10 games, even if we get eliminated in the last few games, being in the race up until the final 10 games of the season is great for this team, especially with how young they are. And tonight showed that this team can really hang with the best teams in the National Hockey League. Now, a big player makes a return to the nation's capital today. Nick Paul, he could do it all. He returns to Ottawa for the first time since the trade. It's kind of crazy that this is the first time he's returned to Ottawa. I thought they played here previously since the trade. I guess not. Or maybe he was injured. I don't know. But welcome back to Ottawa, Nick Paul. Got a nice reception during the first commercial break. Now, we got some big news earlier today before the game begun. Tyler Kleven out of UND has come to Ottawa. He signed his entry-level deal, and it burns a year off, by the way, immediately. It's an NCAA rule, I believe, just like what happened with Jake Sanderson when he signed last year. But welcome to Ottawa, Mr. Klevbaum. It's great to have you. And more importantly, Ottawa now has all 4 players drafted out of UND in the NHL system. Jacob Bernard-Docker, Shane Pinto, Jake Sanderson, and now Tyler Kleven. It's a beautiful thing. So shout out to North Dakota, the Nodak Sens, for developing some great prospects. It's kind of unbelievable that we have 4 guys in the last few years drafted out of there, and now in the NHL system, 3 of them on the NHL roster. That's pretty wild if you think about it. But regardless, welcome to Ottawa, Tyler Kleven. There's no guarantee that Kleven will get into any games this season, according to Pierre Dorion earlier today, but he might get into the last couple of games, especially if Ottawa gets eliminated from playoff contention. Now let's get into today's recap. 10 minutes in, it's all Ottawa, baby. After a neutral zone turnover, Drake Batherson along the right boards sends a beautiful saucer pass to Mr. Meow Man, Alex DeBrincat. He rips it 5-hole, 1-0 Ottawa 10 minutes in as he beats Brian Elliott, the former Ottawa Senator, and Ottawa leads. They strike first. It's 1-0 as Meow Man scores his 22nd of the season. 2 minutes later, Meow Man double dips in the milk as it's 2-0 Ottawa. Alex DeBrincat enters the zone through the left side, spins, waits, shoots, fires, and scores. Top glove side past Brian Elliott. And suddenly, in 2 minutes, Ottawa strikes back-to-back. Meow to meow. It's 2-0 Ottawa from Meow Man, Mr. Alex DeBrincat. That is goal number 23 on the season for DeBrincat. And I mentioned this in a tweet at the first intermission. DeBrincat has 63 points right now. 64 points, pardon me, at the end of this game. He has 23 goals. 23 goals, 64 points in just around 70 games. I don't know about you. That sounds fantastic to me. Now, taking the fact that this is the worst season, and the worst season, I'll say, in Alex DeBrincat's very short NHL career. He's only played 4 or 5 years, but his shooting percentage is the lowest it's ever been. That is obviously going to bounce back next year. There's no doubt about it. This guy is basically scoring 30 goals and roughly 70 points in an 82-game season in a down year. So can you imagine how good this guy would be in a year where he's producing at expected levels? 80, 90 points. I mean, this guy is producing 70 points in a down year. I mean, it's unbelievable that we're talking about trading the guy. The guy should be extended long-term. And guess what? If we get rid of Alex DeBrincat, who the hell replaces him? I'm listening. I mean, I'm actually curious who would replace him. Giroux's not getting any younger, and I think Greg and Pinto are much better at a center role. So my point is, you traded a bunch of assets for Alex DeBrincat. You kind of ripped off Chicago. Now take advantage, lock the guy up long-term, and maybe even at a bit of a discount, because of the down years. So definitely lock him up in my opinion. And once again, if this is a down year for Alex DeBrincat, oh boy, I cannot wait to see how he does in a quote-unquote up year for him. But let's get to the second period of play. And 12 minutes in, man, what a back-and-forth game this was. 12 minutes in, the Lightning strike. Steven Stamkos feeds Kucherov through the middle, who finds Brayden Point along the left hash mark. He makes no mistake. He rips it past Søgaard. It's a 2-1 game. It's back-to-back games with a goal for Brayden Point as well. And the Lightning strike, no pun intended, it's a 2-1 game. And at that point, after that goal to make it 2-1, Ottawa was getting outshot 16-3 after going up 2-0. After that goal to make it 2-1, the shots were 16-3 at that point for Tampa Bay. Tampa was all over the Ottawa Senators, and frankly, the next goal would be the difference maker. If Tampa scored another one to tie the game, I think, in my opinion, that would have opened the floodgates. Luckily, though, for Ottawa, Tampa decided to get into some shenanigans, and that gave Ottawa a power play, because with about 5 minutes left in the second period of play, Maroon kind of gets into it with Alex DeBrincat. He goes off for an instigating penalty. DeBrincat laughs him off the ice, as you could just see on your screen there. And Ottawa would make Maroon pay for it. A couple seconds after that, on the power play, 6 minutes left in the second period of play, Ottawa reclaims their 2-goal lead as Derek Brassard blasts a one-time shot past Brian Elliott, bar in. 3-1 Ottawa. And seconds prior, Victor Hedman slew-foot Jacob Chychrun. And the Lightning are playing dirty. Chychrun did not like that one. There was some beef after it. I did not understand why Hedman would take a run at Chychrun. It's not like he did anything in this game, especially. I don't think they have a history either. I thought that was really out of line for Hedman. It really made no sense. It was a dirty play. Chychrun had every right to be upset after that one. But luckily for Ottawa, it doesn't matter. They score. Chychrun's not hurt. It's 3-1 Senators. And that would be our score going into the third period of play. And 5 minutes in, just like in the early part of the second period of play, Tampa would get some life. Sergachev from the point makes it a 3-2 game off the power play goal, but after that it was all Ottawa. 2 minutes later, Erik Brannstrom responds in a massive way. He goes coast to coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast. He puts it home. What a goal here, bar in, for Erik Brannstrom. The franchise, his second of the season, makes it a 4-2 game. Ottawa takes the lead right back. What a goal there for Erik Brannstrom from the west to the east coast. Unbelievable. You don't see many defensemen have the ability to go coast to coast like that at such speed without getting pushed off the puck. Unbelievable goal here for Erik Brannstrom, and Ottawa leads 4-2. Unbelievable stuff from the franchise. Extend this guy right now. Sure, the goal totals are not there. The point totals are not exactly where you would want from a guy like Brannstrom, who's supposed to be an offensive-oriented guy. But if you look at the defensive stats and the advanced metrics on Erik Brannstrom, he's a top 3 defenseman on this team who's been playing primarily in the bottom half of the pairings, okay? This guy, yeah, I get he's undersized, but he's also underutilized in my opinion. He has some more offense to give. He's not given the opportunities as much as he should be in my opinion. And defensively speaking, Erik Brannstrom makes teams pay. He forces teams to turn over the puck, does a great job at blocking shots. He blocked another shot tonight, probably saved a goal there in the third period, and overall does absolutely love Erik Brannstrom's game. If you look at any of his advanced analytics, he's one of the best defensemen on this team. Without a doubt, go to Hockey Reference and you'll see what I'm saying. But after that, 7 minutes later, Ottawa is looking to put this one away, and Tom Chabot from the point feeds Alex DeBrincat along the goal line, feeds Tkachuk on the right hash mark. He cashes it home. 5-2 Senators for the captain. His 31st of the season, a career high, and Ottawa leads 5-2. And after that, John Cooper, the Tampa Bay Lightning head coach, would empty the net. A little risky in my opinion, but if you're down 5-2, what do you got to lose? So it's 5-2. 5 minutes left, and you know what happens. Tim Stützle along the left boards chips a puck up to Brady Tkachuk. He's alone on the breakaway with empty net. Bing, bang, boom, 6-2 Senators. Tkachuk's second goal of the game. He now has a new career high in goals with 32 on the year. What a season this has been for the captain for Ottawa, Brady Tkachuk. But the goals are not done. A minute later, Austin Watson gets in on the party, scoring the touchdown for your Ottawa Senators. It's 7-2 off a backhand goal here out front off a loose puck for Austin Watson, as your Ottawa Senators win 7-2 over the Tampa Bay Lightning. And by the way, that Austin Watson goal made it 4 straight shots with a goal for your Ottawa Senators. That means utter dominance in the third period of play for Ottawa. And overall, look, that second period looked a little bit sketch. A little bit sketch for the Ottawa Senators. I was a little worried that they might collapse. They might give up this game. And, you know, at this stage of the season, if they want to stay in the playoff race, you can't be giving up these type of games. Luckily for Ottawa, I love the statement they provided here in that third period. Even when Tampa made it close again early on with that 3-2 goal from Sergachev, they pushed back, scored 4 straight, and with authority won this game. And once again, even if Ottawa doesn't make the playoffs, games like this are so valuable for such a young team because you just beat a team that has been to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row, okay? This is not an easy team to beat. Even if they're not doing the greatest in the standings right now, none of that matters. They're still triple Stanley Cup Final appearance type of team, okay? So this is a tough team. Ottawa made a statement tonight, especially when things got tough. They didn't take their foot off the pedal and got a massive 2 points to put them only 5 points out of the final wildcard spot, which is a beautiful thing. Now, some game notes, as many people mentioned on Twitter tonight, Alex DeBrincat, when scoring a goal, Ottawa is 16-1-1, now 17-1-1 in those games. So Ottawa has only lost 2 out of 19 games where Alex DeBrincat has scored, which is, I mean, says it all. DeBrincat obviously has not had the season he's hoped for, but that right there, in my opinion anyways, I've saw some banter on Twitter going back and forth, different perspectives on what I'm about to say here, no doubt. But in my opinion, I think that stat, 17-1-1, when DeBrincat scores, really shows how big of an impact DeBrincat really has on this team when he's producing. Without him, this team has definitely struggled. There's no doubt about that. And when he scores, the team, coincidentally or not, wins. So I think next year, especially if they keep him around past just a qualifying offer next year, I think we're going to really start to see what DeBrincat can do offensively for this team and how he can single-handedly win games for the Ottawa Senators. Now, Mads Søgaard, speaking of winning games for the Ottawa Senators, really kept Ottawa in it, especially in that second period of play when Tampa was all over Ottawa. Tonight, 27 stops, very good game, 29 shots faced, some really tough stops there, especially shorthanded. Tampa Bay has a very good penalty kill, but Søgaard made a couple of great cross-crease saves. He used his long legs to make a couple big stops, and that's now back-to-back good performances for Mads Søgaard after a bit of a rough stretch. So great to see Søgaard regaining some confidence, and I would definitely expect him on Saturday against the Devils. Now, Tim Stützle, last thing I want to say, my goodness, this guy is a stud. I mean, he is so strong. He's a force at all ends of the ice. He's on the power play. He's on the penalty kill. And even on 5-on-5, you can't knock this guy off the puck. There's a couple of times shorthanded today where Tim Stützle single-handedly took on 2 or 3 Tampa Bay guys through the middle and took them for a skate. I mean, this guy is so impossible to knock off the puck. And he's only going to get stronger. He's only going to get better because he's still so young. And that contract, which hasn't even kicked in, is probably one of the best already in the National Hockey League. So, by the way, shout out to you again, Pierre Dorion. But I just had to mention a little bit of a props there for my boy Timmy Stu because he's an absolute stud. He's a superstar, and the league is not ready for how good this guy is going to be for the years to come. So besides that, I will leave it at that. I'm kind of rambling here. I've kind of said all I want to say. So I'll leave it at that. The next SENS game is on Saturday against the New Jersey Devils. I will see you all then. Besides that, thank you all for watching. Appreciate your support. Good game, boys. Huge W. I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.